Welcome back to the IeSF 2013 World Championship coverage here for the semi-finals. Small apology, we are a little bit late into the picks and bans phase due to a little bit of an issue with the game starting, but we have got all of the picks and bans locked in. They are up on your screen, so at least it speeds through a couple of the little proceedings heading into this game. I am James Stress O'Leary, joined once again by Panky here for all of the proceedings this weekend, and Netherlands lead this series 1-0. It is a best of 3. We'll see whether Denmark can come back into this one, and let's have a look at these team compositions for a little second.
They're a little bit different to what we've seen before, especially that DK lineup, the team from Denmark. They're much more of a team fight based comp there. They can easily fight against Gragas with his ultimate this time around, as opposed to the previous match where it just destroyed them. But as far as the Dutch team is concerned, they have more or less identical, but instead of picking up that Irelia this time around, Mosso was able to first pick his Z after it slipped through the bans. So he's got a very, very powerful assassin once again.
Yeah, that was first picked, as you would expect when it is let through, and Mosso has had brilliant success on it yesterday. We'll see whether he can replicate that again today. Now, Jax has been picked up by Knee Godbro, and kind of find myself whenever Zed's picked, because it's so infrequently, trying to just look at that matchup and determine how it's going to go. That's one to watch here, is this Jax versus Zed in the top lane. And we are into game. So, Netherlands on the blue side, Denmark on the red. Netherlands lead this series 1-0. A win here would put them through to the finals. And obviously a loss would even this one up in favour of Denmark. So
Godbro is wearing an awesome headband. This is esports serious business. Headbands, sweatbands, keeping the hair out of his eyes.
Actually, Kialis caught out a little bit here, takes some damage to begin this one. And now Kialis backs off. Did get a couple of wards down, managed to get one at that banana bush. We'll be able to spot some of the members of the Danish team. They do actually ping directly on that ward as well, so
30 seconds until minions.
They know exactly where they will be spotted.
It's an interesting start from the Dutch side, because they saw this invade coming from the Danes, they knew it was happening, but they haven't really done anything against it. They haven't gone and warded their opposing side. They haven't really tried to defend against it this too much, and they've just let it happen and kind of got nothing for it. They're now seeing them leave. They do watch them all leave back across that ward, so they know where they are. But honestly, I think they're definitely a long way behind from that. They didn't get much out of it, so it's going to be a bit of a risky play for them now.
And now, as you said, didn't get much out of it, and also the Netherlands have now established control of their own jungle. So as the lanes do start to meet in that middle lane, who will be the team to gain the first advantage? It looks like we're going to see the 2v1 coming out from Ezreal and Sona up in that top lane, going up against Zed. Now that leaves Jax in the 1v2 down in the bottom, and we've seen time and time again, Jax is actually a lot better than you'd expect in that 2v1 situation. We'll see whether they can make that work for them.
Yeah, Zed should be okay in a 2v1. He's got a very powerful wave clear, a very good long range with those shurikens, and a decent escape with the Living Shadow as well. Jax, on the other hand, a little bit riskier. Yes, he's got that dodge on their counter-strike. He's got a good stun. Will easily be able to go in and initiate should Shyvana come down and they want to take a fight. But unless he's going to lose all his mana up on those counter-strikes, he's got no real way of avoiding damage while he farms. So he's going to get a lot of punishment from that Lulu and Caitlyn combo. Because, I mean, they've already got a lot of range. Lulu is already very good at harass, as well as Caitlyn too. So Jax is going to have a tough time, and without a jungler that can really do anything about it, he's going to be in trouble.
Oh, and that's a lot of damage coming out onto Roldo already. Very nice cocoon as he was caught out in that bush. Bro forced to flash away. Gamble is going to follow up. Will land the auto attack, but takes the cocoon. Morsu might be able to follow this up with a kill for him himself. Morsu will get that, but now in danger as he did use his flash aggressively. Santorin cleans up and makes sure that the only person wearing those buffs on the map is himself.
Yeah, I mean, okay, he died for it, but he needed to die there. With Ezreal, if Ezreal had stayed alive, he would have killed it. Like, if he had tried to run from that, he would have died to Ezreal and Shyvana anyway, and then Ezreal would have been alive, Ezreal would have had a kill, and he would have been able to push in the wave and get the bonus experience. This way, Ezreal had to back as well, so Ezreal was not there for the experience. Shyvana pushed the lane in. Zed's going to get back up there and actually get a few of these creeps. Ezreal didn't get any on the push, so he's not quite got the same experience he would have if he'd stayed alive. And this, of course, the bonus gold from just getting the kill. So Zed needed to make sure he secured that, which is why he flashed aggressively.
Yeah, it's a good flash out of Zed, and of course, anytime you can get on extra kills on a champion like Zed, that's going to go well away into that mid-game. Metalex gets aggressed upon by Godbro. Ooh, good flash out from the cocoon. I have a feeling that if Bro hadn't have been there for that, Godbro may have been able to pick something up there, since he does have that ignite available.
So, Mikau and Hoodboss in the mid lane. Diana, I want to talk about that briefly. It's someone we have not seen in competitive play for a long time, but is personally one of Skara's favourite champions, as is very well known, and is an awesome champion in my opinion. She's great fun to play, very powerful, and the amount of times we've seen her blow up squishy targets, very much like Caitlyn, is unprecedented. She can do that incredibly well when she gets a little bit of AP involved, and she's great at 1v1ing down targets like Gragas. Yes, she's got a leap on top. Yes, she's melee again. She will get on top of Gragas. He will use his ultimate to push her away, but providing she's landed that critical strike and got the reset on her ultimate, she'll go right back in there and be straight back on top of him again in a very quick succession. There's a lot of damage coming out from the tower, however, onto this DK pairing.
Yeah, Roldo did take a couple of them. Well, a tower shot there, and Gamble takes one as well. Speaking of Diana, she's had a couple of iterations with regards to her role within a team, and I wonder which one Mikau will settle on. We've seen the former Nash's Tooth build, where you got that massive damage off the passive, and she played kind of a split push role, as she could just shred through towers with that passive damage. Also, you know, you've seen the Abyssal Scepter style as well, so there's plenty of ways to build Diana. Well, at least there used to be. We haven't seen her quite so much recently, as you said, but good to see her back with some of these players. Then again, we've seen a couple of champions that we haven't seen in a while. You look at the likes of Kazakhs. Now Bro will go aggressive on towards this one. Godbro gets exhausted, which will slow him down. Godbro, is he going to be able to get away? Not quite on that health. Santorin now under a lot of pressure, does get back behind the tower, only with 200 health though.
Very nice escape, but Godbro fell down, and as I said, that's the problem there with Jax. He's got to go all in with that. His escape is sort of his dodge and his counter, and he didn't quite have it. And yes, he had that leap, came back up of cooldown afterwards, but the damage had already been done, and they managed to follow him through. He's got a lot of damage. Jax is very strong and can become a complete hyper carry, but that's later. He needs to farm, he needs to have that strength to begin with, and he is in his weak stage, and the Dutch team are doing a good job of abusing that.
Yeah, Morsu has hit that level 6 here, so he's backing off, gonna go and take down those wolves, and champion like Ezreal has to be quite careful now against Zed, as Ezreal hasn't got exactly the highest resistances, same with Sona, so if Morsu were to find one of these two out on their own, he may be able to pick one of them off, but they will take a tower before anything like that can happen. They even up the tower game, and the gold is pretty much even between the two teams as well, but the Netherlands...
But with Caitlyn and Lulu having killed that tower early and based and shot, it now means they can come back with a bigger item and do this very quick dragon, so that immediately offsets the gold again.
Exactly, I was about to say, and the Netherlands will look to establish control once again, take down that dragon, and now fall back towards their respective sides. True Shot Barrage was used to make sure that top wave is pushing through. That leaves Ezreal fairly low on mana, and they've actually pinged Morsu on. Wouldn't really expect to see them try and do some kind of all-in on him when they don't have the mana, and they do end up recalling out.
So, let's see as the rotation comes back in with that top tower down. Gamble and Roldo will be back now towards the bottom lane up against Caitlyn and Lulu. So there is a Sheen and a longsword up onto Gamble against the BF sword on Caitlyn. Now, in theory, Caitlyn should win out on that because she should be able to land these attacks onto Ezreal without any kind of retort. But the Mystic Shots have got a long range on it. If she doesn't hide well enough behind the creeps, they're going to start to hurt, especially with those Sheen Brooks included. And Sona does a lot of poke on her own too. So the matchup is going to be incredibly interesting to see which direction it goes. And with the tower missing on the DK side of the map, whether we see any kind of abuse of that fact from Elise or even from Gragas coming around behind them will be very, very pivotal. But honestly, the way the Dutch team have been playing the last couple of games, I would more expectedly see Caitlyn and Lulu rotate towards the mid lane in the next minute, 2-3 minutes, look for a group 3, 4, 5-man push onto the middle turret.
Roldo forced the flash there after the cocoon and the repel from Bro, and something about the Dutch team really that you don't see in a lot of teams is how comfortable they feel playing from behind, which they aren't behind in this game, but we've seen them in a good few games today at a bit of a disadvantage and then really finding their strength in the mid game. And it's something that has become a little less frequent these days. Normally we're used to teams like former CLG EU being very comfortable in playing a game out, waiting towards the later stages of the game to really start to close it out. Recently there's been a lot more snowballing, and it's been a bit more difficult to prevent yourself from losing a game, but Netherlands certainly feel comfortable doing that. Nigodbro actually took a lot of damage up in that top lane. Has to be careful that Morsu doesn't all in him, as he might be looking for the kill.
He's already all in him, that's why he's got much health. Zed used his ultimate, went in, full comboed everything, but dodge in it was in the dodge that Godbro put out, dodged enough damage that he didn't fall down to the execute of that death mark. But this is the downside to that lane swap for Jax. Now that he's gone back up into the top lane, he was 2 levels down on Zed when he arrived up there, so Zed was able to easily bully him and initiate and try that dive, that all in. But well played by Godbro to survive it. However, they'd still got a lot of damage, and that Living Shadow and Flash is still up, so could still finish Godbro off under tower, especially as Godbro is burning through his mana.
Yes, so there is a jump in the mid lane from Mikau onto Hood Boss. Just trying to see what damage they could put down onto Gragas there, but not really able to get all that much. And Morsu once again trying to hold Godbro there. Doesn't really want to. Well, if Godbro were to back, Morsu would get a lot of damage down onto that turret, but it would also mean he'd be able to itemize down in the bottom lane. However, the cocoon does land after Roldo did go for that crescendo gamble. Now trying to get away from Bro. Cocoon not quite available yet, but Elise has a lot of damage coming out. Are they able to chase on for this? It doesn't look like the team from the Netherlands are quite able to catch up. There's a lot of damage on Roldo. Ace in the hole gets channeled, and Roldo just kind of admits defeat there and takes that ace in the hole.
Very nice chase. The no mana on Ezreal meant that Elise could chase her the entire way. Sona sacrificing herself to save Ezreal. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. I mean, support, AD carry surviving, support dying, not the end of the world, but the fact that there was also an extra death on Sona and no kill spree, I mean, she was actually worth slightly less gold too, so that does work out ever so more in the favour. But handing that kill over to Caitlyn right at the end was the best possible result for the Dutch team too.
Diana has picked up that blasting one, which is, a fairly open start for her. 1,500 gold currently on Diana right now. I wonder what exactly they're going to look for. Mikau does take a barrel there, has to be careful.
He's probably going for a very fast Abyssal to stay alive against this Gragas, which I would have rather seen him go for a Zhonya's, because one, that's a lot more damage and helps him execute. It gives him a great engage power, as we've seen Diana's do on many occasions, to Q ult in Zhonya's and then keep going. And in lane against Gragas, it gives him plenty of an outplay potential to Zhonya's that ultimate, Zhonya's that barrel and stay alive. So it's a tougher play. It would have required a bit more micro, and it would have been an outplay situation rather than just a base roll. But I mean, Abyssal works too.
Yeah, there it is. The Abyssal Scepter does get finished off there, and not the split push Diana that did really have a lot of prevalence in the spring split of Season 3. Of course, there were adjustments made, so this is far more the standard Diana that we saw before. Indeed, the Nash's Tooth was picked up a lot. Now, how will that benefit the Danish composition? Do they have the better team fight? They certainly have some fairly formidable duelists when you look at the likes of Jax and Diana, but is that going to be enough to stop Morsu Zed, who has really been rampaging through teams here this weekend?
It's a very, very valid point. We'll have to watch things go. I mean, we've seen before how people love to pick on squishy supports, and Sona is just like that. And Zed is getting very, very strong, and in fact taking the blue buff too, so Zed taking blue buff over the Gragas. Yes, the Gragas has Chalice of Harmony and 2 Dorans, but that's still interesting play considering how often we've liked to see Hood Boss use his ultimate, and how nice that cooldown reduction may be. So it's an interesting play. I'm also really thinking that blue buff will help him out in top lane against Jax. We'll have to see whether it does or not. He is level 11, but he is also basing, so he's not going to be able to abuse that level advantage, that extra level of ultimate against Godbro. Godbro is basing, so he is going to have that level advantage when they do return to lane. We'll see whether Morso can really make the most of that.
Yeah, and as you said, that blue buff is not something that you'd normally see on Zed. Obviously, well, only using it really for that extra cooldown reduction, as it really doesn't benefit him in any other way. But Netherlands now pushing on towards this middle lane, but it's still 2 in the middle for the Danes. And Roldo, you always have to be careful when a Sona's moving like that towards you, because you're never too sure whether she's going to pull out some kind of flash crescendo and have the rest of her team following up. But up in the top lane, you can see Elise is there. Bro maybe looking to assist Morsu with this one. Godbro really doesn't know the Cocoon will land. Now Morsu goes aggressive. There's really not a lot that can be done here for Jax. They actually saved the death mark as well. And there is a response in the mid lane, however. This is what I mean by that movement from Sona. Forces the Netherlands back to their turret, but they do pick up the top turret in exchange.
Yeah, and they're going to keep pushing too, because they know everyone else is mid. So they know someone's going to come and deal with it, and when they do, the mid lane's going to be pushed up, and that's going to take a lot of damage too. There's good wave clear from Diana and Shyvana, but now that Ezra and Sona have had to go top to deal with Elise and Zed, they are still damaging the turret, but they're just going to go straight in.
Yeah, there's the crescendo. Gamble actually gets taken down very low. That death mark did get saved for him, as we said. Roldo is going to get dropped by the venomous bite as well. That will be a double kill there for the Netherlands. Centurion doesn't quite land on to Morsu. There's the ultimate, however. The Lulu Wild Growth is going to knock up Centurion. Is he able to get the kill first? No. Morsu just survives on a slither of health.
Also just about slipping away thanks to that blue buff, giving him the increased energy regen, allowing him to get that living shadow up quicker. I'm going to call it to that. Didn't manage to pick up that mid turret in that process, but the extra kills going on to Elise and Zed is going to make them all the more menacing and will allow them to come and pick it up very, very shortly. That, and at the same time, Caitlyn picked up red buff and is now going bottom to an even bigger wave of creeps down there too, so she's going to come out again stronger still. She has got an interesting build, BT first, which is a build that Yellow Pete did a lot in the LCS and took a lot of criticism from many people. But when you're against something like a Diana, you really need that extra lifesteal. She's going to leap on you. She's going to start wailing away on you, and you need some kind of sustain to keep yourself going while she's doing that. Bloodthirster does that very, very well.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's normally followed up by a Last Whisper, isn't it? You skip out.
It is one way to do it,
speed.
but I'd also like to see some attack speed come out of it as well, simply because the more attack, the more lifesteal. Getting in that short space of time would be very nice when there's both Jax and Diana leaping on you.
Yeah, and speaking of leaping on, Morsu had that death mark available once again, and it got used on Gamble for a second time in quick succession. Followed up with the ace in the hole as well. And then you get that cool turning away from somebody and just having them pop that Zed gets. So Morsu once again having a great game 4 and 1 here on Zed, really just showing you why Morsu needs to get that Zed banned out if you're facing up against the Netherlands.
Well, that's the thing. It's not the Zed, because he's done it on Kha'Zix, he's done it on Aurelia, and now he's done it on Zed. He's got a wide champ pool, and he does this very well. He starts with an aggressive top laner, he snowballs hard, and then he starts to split push. And there is currently no one on this DK team that can 1v1 him when he has his ultimate. Godbro is doing it now because he has no ult, but all he has to do is run away. Godbro blows his flash, immediate flash from Morso as well. They're going to keep chasing. Godbro will finish him off.
Yeah, but it took so much out of Godbro. It took the flash, the ignite, the Bilgewater Cutlass. And again, that was all because Morsu didn't have his ultimate available and was pushing away in that bottom lane, but it was a shutdown. And even though that will give extra gold over towards Jax, I mean, better to be shut down now than shut down in 3 or 4 kills time where you're going to be worth a lot. And Gamble takes a lot of damage. Arcane Shift does really not allow that explosive cask to push him too far away, but that is that short cooldown on that ultimate will be back up fairly soon.
Yeah, Arcane Shift at the last second, making sure he was pushed in the direction he wanted to. Greg is trying to barrel over and steal that blue buff. No more than that, though, as it is in a very, very precarious position. Oh, Gamble took the blue from Mikau. Gamble's last auto attack took it. That's painful. And I would have really liked that blue, especially as he's a large part of their wave clear now for the incoming sieges that are necessarily on their way. But, I mean, it's worse people than Gamble could have picked it up, I suppose.
Yes, yeah, that is for sure. I mean, one of the reasons that I think Mikau will be a little upset with that is because on Diana it's fairly important to get those Crescent Strikes out very often when you are under siege, and need Godbro now under the aggression from the pairing from the Netherlands once again.
Baited.
That's the second time that's happened this game, that Morsu shows himself after having a spot of weakness against Knee Godbro, and this time Bro was alongside.
Shavana and Sona, they're now defending at this time, so it means Lulu, Caitlyn and Gragas are in mid again. I don't imagine we'll see the double kill that Morso and Bro got last time on the bottom lane, but we are going to see this tier 2 turret take a lot of punishment instead. Gragas lands a good barrel on Diana. She has a shield, so it's not too much to worry about. Gamble abusing his blue buff now, chasing them down in that mid lane. It does a lot of damage to that Lulu.
Yeah, he's got to be careful that he doesn't overextend forward here. He's landing good harass, but as you see, Glitter Lance is such a big slow that it's very... well, if they land one of those and follow up with the explosive cask, it might be a little bit difficult for Gamble to get out of that one. Of course, does have Arcane Shift and Flash available, so still somewhat safe, but has to be careful that he's not playing too over-aggressive here, because there's a significant gold lead in favour of the Netherlands, and they look to extend that even more by taking down this dragon.
And Morso goes straight back to his bottom lane to start split pushing again. There is no one that can 1v1 him, and that ult's just come back up again. And he's just about to finish off that last Whisper 2, and that's going to help him tear through Godbro's Jax on his own without the help of Elise this time around. Gamble's going very, very low. Ooh, almost got finished off by that ace in the hole, but again, he's going to be forced back, and now that they've got that, they can push up the mid lane, and that turret's already down to half health.
That was either very well judged or a bit of a gamble by Ezreal, whether that ace in the hole would have killed him, if you'll pardon the terrible pun, as he didn't choose to barrier that one. Sorry,
I expect nothing less from you.
I channeled Freak for a little bit there, but no, did hold on to that barrier, so that keeps him safe for the next time that kind of happens, but that's what I meant about being a little bit over-aggressive. Luckily, the damage didn't quite add up to being a full health bar, but ooh, flash out from Hoodboss, didn't want to get caught there. I don't think he was even too happy about his flash from the asterisks that have appeared in chat following that. I think he might have forgot he has body slam.
That's even better. I don't have the maturity filter turned on. He just wrote asterisks. He just typed out asterisks.
Oh dear. That's how frustrated. So
Oh
frustrated
god,
that he had
Broby
to
Morso in the bottom lane. Morso waiting for the dodge to finish before he used his ult. Is it enough? Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, but just that last
The
bit
last
of damage.
shuriken was enough to tip it over the edge. Finishes him off.
And once again, Godbro feels like he's getting the better of these trades to begin with. And then either that ult starts to pop with that final bit of damage, or out of nowhere Bro appears for a cocoon. But Godbro, time and time again, is just getting so confident and then getting shut down so hard as a cocoon does land onto Gamble. They land a lot of damage, takes him under half health. That will spell the end of this mid turret, as they really can't defend that one with such low health.
Thought it was going to hit Shyvana, it hit Gamble, it suddenly got very, very interesting. We did see Mikau also go bottom, which is part of the reason that tower fell. Mikau is a massive part of the DK wave clear, and because he had to go and deal with that Zed, then they could not clear that wave quick enough, and the tower fell. And in fact, they're going to leave Mikau down there. Now he thinks he's going to have a better job at dealing with Zed than Godbro is, so we'll see whether that's true or not. He's starting to build his Zhonya's now, or at least to seek his arm guard. Zed doesn't have ult, so he's safe for a little while, but I still, until that Zhonya's is complete, I do not see Diana winning that fight any better than Jax is.
Yeah, it's well, when you take into account how good a duelist both of those champions are, it's that tells you right now how strong Morsu is right now. Just as a bit of a reset for you guys, I know some of the guys in chat are talking about the patch. This is Tournament Realm, so we're actually on 3.12, which is the patch before the live servers. So a lot of the recent changes haven't quite gone through yet. That's why we're seeing, certainly not in this game, but that's why we've seen a fair amount of Kassadin and a few other of the champions that were a little bit stronger on 3.12. But am I surprised to actually see champions like Diana coming back after a little bit of a lull?
I don't want to say she's come back yet.
Well,
just say making an appearance.
Making an appearance. That would be the best way of saying it, I think.
Yeah.
Although, as of yet, not exactly having any impact on the game, to be honest. Neither negative nor positive. And
that's for sure. I mean, she saved a few towers thanks to her wave clear, but that is about it. That's all she's done. Didn't see her roam, didn't see her get any kills, haven't seen her really duel anyone, haven't seen her engage. So yeah, other than the wave clear, she's done a whole lot of nothing.
Roldo, however, may... Oh, wow. Didn't even get the channel on that ace, and the whole finished there as the explosive cask. It is a low cooldown, so they do pick that one up, and of course with that blue buff it is going to be even lower, but that is an ultimate used for a support. Can DK get any use out of that? They do have that Zed down in the bottom lane. Look at how confident Morsu is behind that turret. He's even going to just all-in Mikau when that shield was still on. Oh my goodness, that damage on that Death
As I said, I don't think she can do any better than Jax can.
Wow, that was with the shield up from half health. There's still a fight going on. Centauran forced out back behind that mid tower, and really just the Netherlands are just stepping up their aggression here. The confidence from Morsu. Ooh, a nice crescendo is going to lock 3 in place, and the wild growth will knock them up. But Waldo is taking a lot of damage here. Will fall already. Godbro tries to get out. The repel will catch them. The cask blows 2 backwards, but blows Gamble to the side. And that is an easy kill picked up there for Caitlyn.
That's going to be game, to be honest. Those 2 remaining members, okay, Mikau's going to respawn soon, but these 3 remaining members now of the Danish side will not be able to stop the juggernaut that is this Dutch squad. Absolutely decimated their way through in quite fancy, traditional fashion. 15-3. Ultimately, I mean, DK didn't do too particularly bad. They didn't do anything catastrophically wrong, but they were behind from the lane swap. Jax was in a terrible position from there. Then they swapped him back to Zed, who just kept snowballing on him harder and harder and harder and kept his lead up. Some very well-timed ganks from Bro, and nice baits onto Godbro, kept him behind. Diana, as you said, we didn't see her do anything, to be honest. She farmed, that was about it. And, well, unfortunately for them, they kept losing people left, right, and centre thanks to the incredible pick potential of Caitlyn Gragas and Elise. And every time they lost someone, they lost an objective.
Yeah, I think that game can be summed up by that 1v1 engagement from Diana and Zed, where Diana with shield up was at half health and the death mark removed her from the map without even a second thought. But really just Morsu is looking very strong this tournament. Look, and all of the members of the Netherlands team are looking very consistent is the other thing. Even when behind, they are always consistently getting something out of their time, and that really is a sign of a team that are a favourite here at the tournament. Of course, they do have some stiff competition on the other side of the bracket, as I believe the Korean team is still very much so in this one. They are facing Spain currently, I believe, on the other stream, or maybe soon, actually. I think that will be following shortly after Spain did beat Finland. As for our stream, though, for the